Speaking of killer beasts, let's talk about Prey. Let's jump right into Prey. What did you? Because you're
Prey, the new movie
the new movie
on Hulu, the new film in the Predator franchise.
Yes. Would you consider this their attempt of resetting that franchise in a way?
Well, I told you this over the texted you. I think this movie coins a new category.
Oh yes.
This is not a prequel or reboot. This is a prequel-boot.
Prequel. It has to be, right? Because they're starting all over.
Well, they're not starting all over, are they? That's
Well,
the
no,
thing.
I mean in the continuity of the film, they went back to what was it, 1719.
Right, but you know that ties into Predator 2, right?
With the gun, right?
The gun,
the
yeah.
Frenchman's gun.
Yeah, so it kind of loops it back around and ties it back to the Frenchman's gun, which we see in Predator 2.
I'm all for when they do stuff like that. That even if some of the sequels they like didn't work, acknowledging them. Although, would you consider Predator 2 not working? I remember liking it.
Predator 2 is fine.
I remember liking it.
I got no heat with Predator 2. It's definitely I do have one issue with Predator 2. There's way too many curse words in that movie.
Oh,
It's got a disproportionate amount of curse words. It's definitely rated R, but at some point you've got to say, are we saying the F word too much?
Yeah.
Like, I think they topped Scarface with that movie.
Really? That's a big one too, right?
Yeah.
Isn't Scarface in the Guinness Book?
You ever seen the TV edit of Scarface with all the F-bombs cut out?
Yeah, what's the word
It's
they
like
use?
30 minutes.
What's the word you use? You told me the word that they replaced the F-bomb with.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a funny word that they used to replacement. It was really funny. But yeah, going back, I enjoyed them going back and acknowledging the gun. And do you think this movie was successful because it really, in a way, went back to its roots? So I just feel like that's what they were kind of doing, of just giving that same feel of the original Predator film.
Well, yeah, because Predator 1, the original Predator, is by all accounts a slasher movie, right? This is a movie that it comes out, it pretends to be an action movie. It's like, look at we're an action movie, we're doing this big raid, and where are they? Where are they? Colombia? Anyway,
Yep.
and then it just shifts gears into a slasher movie, and they're being hunted by a masked killer, one by one getting taken out, right?
Yep.
That's what it always was. So with Predator 2, 3, 4, all the other ones that came after that, I think the studios, well, whoever producers just felt like they had to amp everything up, raise the stakes even higher, and take Predator out of the jungle and put him somewhere that you wouldn't expect. I think Predator 2 worked. He's in the city, so it's like, okay, the concrete jungle, cool. But after that, I
was
don't
that
think
part of the tagline? It should have been if it wasn't the concrete jungle hunt.
I don't know. I mean, Fox. It's too bad for Fox. I wasn't around.
Yeah, that's right.
Working, But yeah, and I think that this one sort of said no. It's instead of upping the ante or trying to up the stakes here, or not even up the stakes, but just up the situation. Let's just pull it back down to what it was in the first one, which is a slasher movie.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're being taken out one by one by this masked killer because that's what the formula was initially.
No, you're right. That's exactly. I guess that's why it worked. Jesse the Body Ventura came out. Obviously he was in it with his he was famous for his machine gun in there, the heavy gunner Blaine, old painless gun. He came out and endorsed it. He loved it, which was
So did
great.
Bill Duke.
Bill Duke did. And here's one thing I did not know. Love Bill Duke. Sonny Landham, who played Billy. Dan Trachtenberg said that he was the inspiration for this. Now, how cool would it be if you can go back and trace Billy's lineage back to this Comanches that were a part of this film?
It's going to happen in the sequel.
It can, right?
100%.
And I don't think you can take anything away from Amber Midthunder. She just forget it. Her quote just went way up. I mean, there were some people before this came out, and I heard a little bit of scuttlebutt coming out of Comic-Con that they were a little upset and that they had a smaller, more petite female not being able, that it was going to go one-on-one of Predator. Like this was going to somehow diminish the Predator, which was not the case at all. That was actually the plot of the film, was she was the prey and she outsmarted him. And the true hunters, like her brother, I mean, they were going toe to toe, but it was a big part of the script that the Predator discounted her and did not see her as a threat, and she took that as an insult and finished him off. I thought that was great.
You know, folks are on there complaining about, she's a petite lady and she's going to get thrown around by the Predator. All of them were thrown around by the Predator.
Yeah, nobody
Even
wasn't.
the fat French guys were getting thrown around by the Predator. So it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Just get over it.
It made no difference at all. It did not take away from the film for me at all.
I told you that I was kind of a mark for Amber Midthunder before because she was in Hell or High Water.
You told me
Have you seen that movie?
No, I didn't see it.
She had a really small part. She played a bank teller where she gets robbed, and she's kind of like traumatized afterwards. Very small part. You wouldn't, but like if you go back and rewatch it, you'll see what I mean. She just stood out in that really tiny role where she was just like so freaked out from the bank robbery that she is having a hard time recovering. You know,
and she jumped out at the screen.
Yeah, you can tell she's definitely got something.
Yeah, she has everything about. I'm excited. You know, JJ said the era of the '90s dropped a lot of F-bombs hard. I'm curious because there wasn't a lot of curse words in this, but I want to watch the Comanche version. There's going to be one that's going to drop 100. That was the only other complaint I heard where some people are like, why are they speaking English? And this was the equivalent of Kevin Costner doing Robin Hood without an English accent.
Man, if Dan Trachtenberg, the director, had shot this entirely in Comanche as is, like I would have bended the knee at that because that would have been fucking awesome. Damn, I can't curse. Because there is a Comanche version on Hulu, but it's just dubbed.
Oh, okay.
I tried to watch it, but I couldn't. It was dubbed, so it doesn't line up with the mouths.
But I thought he said that they all came back and did all of their dialogue in Comanche.
For the dub.
Oh, for the dub.
Yeah. So had they shot this movie entirely in Comanche, that would be such a baller move.
Oh, man.
And it would be great. It would be so perfect. But, it's a Predator movie. They got to make money. They got to be top of the funnel. So
well, I think it would have worked though, because you think about it, the Frenchmen, they didn't speak English, and even their dubs were actually in French.
Yeah, but then they've got the translator who's like, I can speak to the Comanche, and then he's speaking English, which was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think that's just, that's a weird thing to navigate, I guess. But man, had they done it all in Comanche, that would have been hardcore, and I think that would have put this movie in like Criterion Collection.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff.
No, I totally agree. Because I wanted to instantly see it like that. And I think this audiences in 2022, for as bad as some of them are, when they got TikTok brain, they are savvy enough with watching, with anime being as big as it are. People are used to subbed and dubbed. That's not something that really throws people off. So if you would have just decided to shoot it in Comanche and then went with the subtitles, I think people would have been okay with it. I think it would have, like you said, I don't think it would have hurt that many people, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I feel like subtitles puts a lot of people off.
Yeah.
I feel like you're coming from the lens of being a cinemaphile. It's a lot of folks who just tune in. Like, I think subtitles really put
So
them
they
off.
played it safe. Well, they did something right? Because isn't this the #1 Hulu film of all time?
That's what I heard.
So it's unreal. I was a little bit worried, and I did watch it night one because once I saw the hype train started, I was worried I didn't want to get overhyped on it. But here's the question now: like, do you want to go over the plot at all? Should we hit the plot before we start figuring out what's next?
Sure, hit the plot. Give them the plot breakdown.
Yeah, so we had 1719. You had Naru, the young Comanche woman trained as a healer, dreams of becoming a great hunter. And at the same time, you saw a Predator ship arrive. And you got the feeling that this was this predator's version of the Great Hunt. Like you had to go prove your predatorness. And if you read, I don't know if you've read any of the comics, there's some good YouTube breaks down on the comics. That species is all about respect and the hunt. And we saw that in Predator 2, the way they treated, with the gun and handing him the weapon. But you have to go earn your stripes. So she was trying to earn her stripes, but the tribe was against her at the same time. He just, assuming it's a he, got dropped off to earn his stripes. And he worked his way up the food chain. Started with the rattlesnake, then he was looking at the wolf. He was slowly looking to see who's the top of the food chain because I need the biggest challenge.
Are we to assume that this is the first predator on Earth?
That's what the assumption is, that this was the first time Predator came to Earth. Because what else how much further could they go back and it'd be viable? I mean, they could go back into the BC caveman era and make a film, but then it would come off very similar, right?
What about like King Arthur or something versus a predator?
Now that's, what's coming next. That is the big, like where in the world are they going to go now? What time period? I've heard the King Arthur. I've heard the Viking era. They're going to have to choose wisely because I think now, as great as this was, they're going to run into the same problem that the original Predator ran into, and they're going to run into the same problem that I think Jurassic Park and Jurassic World ran into. Jurassic Park and Jurassic World were both great films, and then you didn't know where to go when you had to take them outside the park. Is Prey and Predator going to run into that when you don't know what to do when you need to take them outside the jungle?
Vikings versus Predator would be insane.
Yeah, so they can't go too far, so they are going to have to go. And I think you need to keep it very primal. And yeah, Vikings, I think, is the way to go. Berserkers versus Predators, because they had some breed of Predators that were basically, they were kicked out of the tribe, and they became like Berserker Predators. So I think that would be great to see Berserker versus Berserker.
I think they did a really good thing. They revived the franchise in a way that Predator versus the Northman, yes.
Oh man,
can you imagine? Like there'd be scenes where like you see Predator heat vision, and then the Northman is like tripping on mushrooms and seeing the Predator in his own heat vision.
Oh yeah,
going back and forth.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it, but
yeah, I think they took it. They dialed it back. They took it to a new place where they can start over because rather than up the ante, you dial it down, right?
Yeah,
and so they can do a lot with it. I could see like. With it, I feel like there's going to be a sequel, right? Did you watch the credits?
Yes. Oh yeah, because it showed when they showed the drawings. The
drawings show like ships coming back. And I guess if they're going to maintain continuity, the Predators get that gun back eventually.
Yeah.
But you could do like an anthology where you just like go like X-Files or something or Twilight Zone where it's just like different scenarios where a Predator gets dropped in.
Anywhere. Yeah, I think that would work.
You drop one in on King Arthur, Excalibur versus Predator. You drop one in on some caveman. Maybe there'll be like a really, really caveman-esque Predator with like, I don't know, shoots bones.
Shoots bones. I mean, I'm all for it. I think they're going to try to keep her in there, so that is going to have to somehow keep the continuity.
You've got, Amber Thunder's, they're going to, yeah. Totally.
I
hope they inked her in for a 3-picture deal because she's about to. You're right. Her quote's about to skyrocket.
I think it would be fine if you want to keep it within that time period, and then you have. Would you send back a bunch of other predators that would go hunt down and find out what happened, and then you have Comanches versus Predator? But now they kind of know what to expect.
Well, you may have the parent predators.
Parent predators, yeah.
This was probably Junior on his first hunt. And
yeah,
he got beheaded.
Yeah, he got. So, and you're right. The pistol, they do have to keep that into the continuity there. So it's
if that's what they're choosing to do, they want to maintain continuity. They threw that pistol in for a reason.
Yes. Well, Dan Trachtenberg, he's again his quote also just went up now too because he kind of everybody liked Cloverfield, but then when his version of Cloverfield, when it was a secret, I feel like that was another. Is he becoming what Rock was to franchise when Rock was franchised Viagra for a while? Is that what Trachtenberg is becoming?
His gimmick is he makes movies in secret. He's borrowing a little bit from what's his name? Jim Abrams. What's the name of the dude?
Oh, J.J. Abrams?
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah. Yeah, he might be doing that. So he also, Trachtenberg, besides 10 Cloverfield Lane, he did the episode playtest on Black Mirror, and he also did one of the episodes of The Boys. So this guy's...
He did the pilot.
Was that the pilot?
He did the pilot, which is impressive because the pilot usually sets the style tone for the rest of the season.
Yeah. So I'm all for it.
Kevin Smith also credits him as the first person who introduced him into podcasting.
Really?
He said he explained to him what a podcast was.
Yeah, I did not know that. That's deep. We have to remind me. Let's talk about Kevin Smith because there's something we do have to talk about him besides him coming to town. But I think this movie did get a lot of respect too, just because you can tell he probably, honestly, he wanted to shoot in Comanche and didn't, but he did stick with, so they had Ember Mid-Thunder, they had Dakota Beavers. I think they really did Stormy Kip. I think they really did respect the Native American POV in this film. Like, it didn't come off as cheesy, campy, or stereotypical. Other than just, like you said, it was strange that they were shooting in English. But I feel like they were very respectful of it. Yeah.
They did. And they did the best they could do. Like I said, they shot it in Comanche. I just think that would have been a baller move. And this movie would have been like an art piece. Because it was really well done.
Yeah, I agree. So, congrats, Disney. You snuck one in on Hulu, and it wasn't even... it was strange.
Way to go. Give Disney some applause.
Yeah.
Disney deserves a break every once in a while. They deserve to get away.
Yeah. For all the heat that they get for this, when they drop the ball, we let them know. So let's know when they caught the ball. Because our international friends are like, oh, if you haven't seen Prey, you've got to check it out on Disney Plus. And then you remember, oh, they don't get it on Hulu there. They actually get it on Disney Plus. So what's next? Is Hulu going to become the platform to relaunch franchises that might be a little bit too risky to do in theaters? Is Alien next? That's the rumor, that they're going to do something like this with Alien.
I think they're doing an Alien show.
Yeah, that's going to be on Hulu.
It'll be a big deal because they've actually, in the history of Alien, they've never shown a xenomorph on Earth, even though that was promised several times. There's never been a xenomorph on Earth in any Alien film. So I think they're planning to do that, which will be a big deal.
And it is ironic too. Yeah, that would be a huge deal. But Alien, the franchise, ran into the same problem that Predator did. Like, what else do you do? Were you a fan of Prometheus? That was the secret Alien prequel boot.
I mean, I liked it for the most part. I guess what I didn't like about that whole after the fact kind of Alien movies, which I guess you could call it the new Ridley Scott movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. Instead of being a continuation, they became a prequel trilogy kind of a build. I didn't like. I would have rather seen the continuation.
Yeah.
You seen Alien 3? There's like a rogue cut out there that exists. It's just like a work print cut because apparently that movie got chopped to pieces.
I think you told me about that, and it's supposed to be great.
Allegedly, but anyway, I think. Hopefully this show, whatever it is, I think it'd be the smart move to just sequel boot out of the subsequent 3 movies and just start somewhere after Aliens.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Podcat's in the house.
Podcat. Because, probably if there's someday we'll do a whole segment on this, a whole spot, if you will. The top 10 most disappointing movies of all time that you were so hyped for and they just failed. And Alien versus Predator has to be on that list.
Yeah. Alien vs. Predator was hot garbage. I didn't mind the second one, though.
The second one,
I kind of liked the second one.
I don't even remember watching it. Wasn't it called like Requiem or something?
Yeah, to me, that one felt more like an Alien vs. Predator movie. They were just like fighting at different locations. Like aliens fighting Predator at the mall, in a sewer. That one felt more like an Aliens versus Predator movie. The first one kind of felt like it was trying to be too much of a Indiana Jones kind of a
that was
adventure movie.
And I mean, I liked Freddy versus Jason, but it could have been way better. And I think that's when everyone was like, "Oh, let's try this." And that's when Batman versus Superman was just a gleam in WB's eyes. But then you had all these. What are the other verses you can have? And we had Alien versus Predator, and another one that never came to fruition was RoboCop versus Terminator.
There's a comic.